Hello, Eagles. It's Mother Eagle here. How is everybody doing? As promised, I wanted to review this little book, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. It's such a wonderful book and a very small read. It was set in the 1920s, so it has very old language, but the personal finance principles are similar. They still work today if applied. And the book is set in a way where it's like a little story of how Babylon became the way it is. Because we know in history Babylon was one of the richest cities in the world. So one of the elders in there was teaching the people how to get wealthy. And the author writes about 7 principles that I'll go through. And the story is so simplistic that you get it. The whole point is, will you apply the points you get in this book? So the first principle is start thy path to fattening, meaning save money. We all know that. And he emphasizes a lot on the first 10% is yours to keep. It doesn't matter what portion, how big or small, what your take home is. That first 10th is yours to keep, because that first 10th is the one that's going to work for you. And I like the way he sets it up, whereby the 10% that you put aside to pay yourself is they are like workmen, they are like soldiers, they are the ones you send out to work, meaning that's the investment, meaning those are the ones that are going to multiply. And when they multiply, don't eat their children, you reinvest them back in. Simple principle, but it works like anything else. You invest 10%, you pay yourself first, then once you put that amount of money in a decent investment, you reinvest it back as it grows. The second principle he mentions was control the expenditure. This is a big one, because many may have an issue of income, but most of us have an issue of expenditure. We spend too much. We don't know where our money goes. That's where the budgeting comes in. So you get an understanding of where is your money going. Do you want it to go there? I remember many years ago, I had a habit of buying insurance. I would insure anything and everything. Until one day, as I was going through my budget, I realized some things I had like double insured, from different companies, insuring the same thing. And I don't know whether it was fear or overprotection that was driving me, but some of those insurances were not necessary. I only could find that out on the budget. So I remember we had a question the other day whereby someone's business was struggling, and yet they are using the profits to do something else instead of reinvesting it in the business, you see. So where is your money going? How are you spending it? Are there ways to control your expenditure? And that is something you can easily and quickly see by tracking, by using a budget. And that is the second point by the author of this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. His third point is make thy gold multiply. Basically, this goes to investment. as you save the 10%, you have to find a suitable vehicle to put that 10% so that it multiplies. It can be stocks, it can be bonds, it can be whichever vehicle you decide, but that will be something you check with your local investment banker to give you advice on that, so that you know which vehicle to put your savings so that they can multiply. Then another thing was, guard your treasure from loss. It's one thing to save up money, it's another thing to protect it from loss. Things happen, and you never want to lose your initial investment, whatever you do, because that initial investment is the one that's going to multiply and become bigger and bigger. Then another thing he mentioned was to make sure that thy dwelling is a profitable investment. Dwelling here, I guess in those days, I don't know if we even still use the word now, is a home. Number 5 was make sure you have a home. A home is an investment. It's a wonderful thing to have. So he really emphasizes that point of having a good home, because as we're in the process of accumulation of money, making it, growing it, there is also a part of enjoyment, because the whole point we are doing this is to be able to enjoy, to be able not to be able to survive, to thrive nicely when we get to that point of retirement. That's the whole point. We are being organized and allowing the monies to grow and putting it in worthy investments so that we can live comfortably. The other point was ensure a future income by protecting yourself with life insurance. This is a big one, because as we grow older, even our ability to work will reduce, but then our lifestyle may continue the same. So when you get maybe to your 60s, 70s, you want to know that you have enough, not only protection for your future income, but you stored away enough to help you in those days, and you have income coming in, and we do that when we are young, when we are able to put together investments, to put together things that will continue producing income even in our later years. The 7th point he mentions in this book is to improve your ability to earn. So we have to strive to continue learning, getting wiser, because being a lifetime learner is a lifestyle. So we have to strive to become learners, increase our abilities in whatever profession you choose, because the higher you improve your abilities, the more likely your income will increase. So imagine you've increased your abilities, you've learned how to save, you're controlling your expenditure, investing it into something worthy that produces an that grows, whereby you send back where you send back the monies so that you reinvest them in, before you know it, as the years go by, there is no way this doesn't work. There is no way your portfolio will not grow. You see, these are basics, foundational principles. You would wish they would teach them in school, right? Whereby we don't have to discover them after we've made so many mistakes. But that's what it is. Most of these things we have to look for them by ourselves through desperation. And again, we are reviewing the book The Richest Man in Babylon. This is by George Carlson. And if you are interested in deeper learning when it comes to personal finance, we do have an online course at motherego.net, and it's called Financial Truth. Learn how to get out of debt. So you can get it over there. All right, let's continue on. So, in summary, that is, just the first part where of the seven simple rules. So you save money, you learn how to spend it wisely, right? Invest it wisely, have a dwelling, avoid poor investment, protect yourself, and increase your knowledge. Some other things he pointed out in the book that were wonderful were the law of money. The law of money is like the law of gravity. So it's something you have to learn. It's something you have to have a desire to do. He mentioned money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws that make money. It's funny because in all our years of schooling, there is no class called, let's learn how to make money or principles of making money. Another thing he mentioned in the book, it's simple to say, but many people never achieve a serious measure of wealth because they never seek it. So when you decide to go on this journey of wealth, you literally have to seek it. You have to be committed to learn on how to make it, grow it, watch it with diligence in every way. Even to the point of learning how to read the financial statements. To be more savvy. It is a necessary thing that you have to do if you're intending to be in this game. And this area of growing money is not something you want to take lightly, because it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. We spend hours making money, so we might as well learn how to grow it, how to protect it. It's a worthy investment. Those who have kids, engage your kids so that they know, so that money is not a stranger, so that they don't start making money mistakes, to develop a money mindset, a success mindset, to break all the money blockages, where we walk around thinking, oh, money grows on trees, as poor as a church mouse. Those little sayings we used to say when we were little. And then you realize you have all kinds of blockages in you, thinking that those who are wealthy are corrupt, things of that nature, which is necessarily not true. And if you carry around such a mindset, you'll find yourself being stuck. So also, youth often assumes incorrectly that the old and wise only have wisdom that is long gone. This is where mentorship comes in, because we always assume that the older people, yes, they have wisdom, but maybe their wisdom is all outdated. It doesn't apply for us today, which is not true, because many of the principles they used in the past are working right now. They believed in accumulation. They believed in taking things accumulating a a little at a time until it grows. Now we are in such a microwave generation that where the idea of waiting 5 years for something to grow is, oh my God, that is too long. Well, some things we have to practice, because if you don't practice, if you're in a habit of instant gratification, that's when you find yourself spending on things that you really don't have to spend on. Some things can wait, knowing the difference between needs and wants. So another thing in the book was surround yourself with people who are familiar with money, who work with it every day, and who make lots of it. Yes, there are some things that you may never learn out of a book, but you may only catch by being in an environment of people who are already doing it, already achieving what you want to achieve. Believe me, when you hang around with people who are in the millionaire category, you'll realize the way they think through things, their ability to make decisions quickly, their ability to take advantage of opportunity is off the chain. It's such a wonderful thing to watch, and that ability you will catch it when you're in environments like that. Because sometimes you may think, okay, for example, if your environment is too on the maybe broke side, you may wonder, oh, how can I even change my mindset when everybody I know around me is not there yet? That's where books come in. Books give you an ability to capture the mindset, to capture some of these things until your situation starts to change slowly but surely. There is a way life works. When you start looking for wealth with intention, opportunity starts to come your way. All of a sudden you find yourself in a conference with all these high wealth earners, and you'll get a glimpse of it, and that's a picture you hold to remove the one that doesn't work and replace it with one that works. All right, moving on. Of course, there's another thing he mentions in the book, to have enjoyment in this process. And I like talking a lot about enjoyment, because sometimes when we are too strict, from one point to another, we feel like everything has to be so strict, and yet that's not the truth. There's a section in the book where he mentioned about the 5 laws of gold. I really like this because gold, the way he used gold, like I had said originally, it's like little men, it's like your workers. He mentioned something like gold comes easy and in increasing quantities to those who know how to save 1/10 of their earnings. So if you're saving 1/10 of your earnings, the gold will multiply. And he mentioned gold labors diligently and multiplies for those who find profitable employment for it. Isn't that wonderful? It's like, employ your gold, put it to work, allow it to grow. And gold clings to the protection of the people who invest their gold with wise people. I love the using the word clings, right? So your investment will cling to you when you put it in a worthy investment and well protected. But it will slip away if you put it in things that you're not familiar with. If you put it in things that are not purposeful, it will slip away, or give it to people who don't know what they are doing. That's why I encourage you to find an investment banker in your area to tell you which kind of vehicles are appropriate for what you're trying to do. And of course, gold will flee the people who try to force it into impossible earnings. Those are people who are thinking, who have the mentality of get rich quick. Oh yeah, with such a mentality, gold will always flee. One of the other things he mentioned in the book is do not live beyond your means, learning to live on 70% of 70% of all you make. So, if you keep 10% for yourself, for those of you who tithe, you give 10% in tithing, then another 10% you use that for paying your debts, then the rest is for all the kinds of things you would like to do, your normal expenditure and everything. But learning and squeezing your budget to live on 70% is not an easy thing, but it is doable. And you'll realize something miraculous, that once you take off these investment monies ahead of time. For example, I know here many people who have any kind of payroll, you can automatically remove any percentage and put it in a savings account right away, or even send it straight into your investments right away, automated. You'll find that you won't really miss the money. You'll find a way to live in the new lifestyle, and opportunities to increase your income will show up. Anyway, in summary, this was a wonderful book. I hope you get a few things you can apply, and the 7 simple rules, as we said, you save money, you control your expenditure, you find a wise investment, avoid investments that sound too good to be true, you protect yourself through life insurance, and strive to increase your knowledge and wisdom. Learn how money works.